You're not serious, I said, my fork frozen midair, staring at Mark across the candlelit table. The words hit like a brick. You're inviting Tom to live with us? For how long? Mark shrugged, slicing into his steak like he hadn't just dropped a bomb. Till he's back on his feet. He's going through a rough divorce. Oh, and he's bringing his dog. My appetite vanished. The dining room, with its fresh paint and carefully chosen decor, felt like it was closing in. Mark, we just finished renovating. This house is ours. Don't you think we should have talked about this? He looked at me like I'd asked something absurd. It's my house too, Emma. I don't need to ask permission to help my best friend. My stomach nodded, anger rising. It's not about Tom. It's about us. You can't just decide something this big without me. My name's Emma Larson. I'm 34. And for the past year, I've poured my heart into turning this house into a home, a symbol of the life I thought Mark and I were building together. But that night, his casual announcement cracked something open. It wasn't just about his friend crashing with us. It was about years of Mark making choices without me, expecting me to nod along. This house was supposed to be our fresh start, but his words, "My decision is final," made it clear he didn't see me as an equal. This is a story of betrayal, of finding my voice, and of fighting for the partnership I deserved. Stick with me, because if you've ever felt dismissed in your own life, you'll feel every step of this, and the ending will show you what it means to stand tall. The house was my dream. After years of renting, Mark and I bought this fixer-upper, and I threw myself into making it ours. I spent months picking paint swatches, scouring thrift stores for furniture, sanding floors until my arms ached. It wasn't just about aesthetics. It was about building a sanctuary, a place where we could grow together. Mark helped here and there, but it was my vision, my sweat, my heart in every detail. So when he announced Tom was moving in, dog and all, without so much as a heads up, it felt like he'd taken a sledgehammer to everything I'd built. Mark and I had been married for 6 years, and over time, I'd noticed a pattern. He'd make big decisions, switching jobs, booking solo trips, even buying a car, without looping me in. "It's fine," he'd say when I raised concerns. "We'll figure it out." I'd bite my tongue, not wanting to rock the boat, convincing myself it wasn't worth a fight. But this? Inviting someone to live in our newly finished home, indefinitely? This was different. The house was our space, the one place I thought I had a voice. Yet here he was, treating me like a roommate who'd just deal. That night, as he leaned back in his chair, dismissing my protests, I felt the weight of every overlooked moment. "It's not a big deal, Emma," he said, rolling his eyes. "Tom's my best friend. He's struggling. You do the same for your friends?" "That's not the point," I shot back, voice sharp. "You didn't ask me. You just decided like my opinion doesn't matter." He scoffed, his tone turning cold. "It's my house too. My decision's final." The words landed like a slap. My decision, not ours. In that moment, I saw it clearly. To Mark, I wasn't a partner. I was someone who'd bend, adjust, comply. He expected me to swallow this, like always. My heart pounded, anger and hurt swirling, but I didn't yell. Years of arguing had taught me he'd just dig in, twist it back on me. Instead, I did something new. I went quiet. "Okay," I said, voice low, steady. "If that's how you feel." Mark blinked, thrown off. "That's it?" I nodded, clearing the table without another word. "That's it." As I loaded the dishwasher, my hands shook, but my mind raced. He thought he'd won, that I'd cave like always. He was wrong. That night, as he slept, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The house I'd poured my soul into didn't feel like mine anymore. It felt like a stage for Mark's decisions, his rules. If I didn't act now, it'd only get worse. A plan formed, quiet but fierce. I wasn't going to beg or shout. I'd show him what it felt like to be sidelined. When Tom arrived, they'd both see my decisions could be final too. The next few days, I moved in silence. Mark didn't suspect a thing. He was too busy texting Tom about logistics, assuming I'd fall in line. But I was done being invisible. First, I called a locksmith while Mark was at work. "I need all the exterior locks changed," I told the guy, forcing a smile. "Just a safety thing." He didn't ask questions, and I didn't offer answers. When he handed me the new keys, I felt a spark of control I hadn't known in years. Next, I reclaimed the house. I walked through every room, eyeing Mark's touches, the gaudy recliner he loved, the tacky bar cart his brother gifted us, the sports posters I'd never liked. One by one, I hauled them to the garage. The house felt lighter, like it was breathing. Again. My best friend Claire came over to help plan the rest. She'd always been my truth teller, calling out Mark's behavior when I couldn't. "You're really doing this?" she asked, sprawled on the couch, now free of Mark's junk. "Hell yes," I said, pouring us wine. "He wants to make decisions without me. Let's see how he likes it." Claire grinned, raising her glass. "I'm here for it. But what's the goal? What happens when Tom shows up?" I sipped, savoring the moment. I'm not kicking Tom out, that's not fair to him. But I'm setting boundaries. They either respect me, or they figure out another plan. I'm done being Mark's doormat. Claire toasted. To you, finally taking up space. I prepped for Tom's arrival with precision. I wasn't going to make him feel unwelcome. He wasn't the problem, but I wasn't rolling out a red carpet either. The guest room got the bare minimum. A mattress, one pillow, a thin blanket. No dog bed, no extra towels, nothing cozy. If Mark wanted to play host, he'd do it without my help. I also packed a small bag of Mark's essentials, clothes, toothbrush, and left it by the door. Not a threat, but a signal. This was my home too, and I'd protect it. The final touch was a letter. I spent hours crafting it, every word deliberate, no anger, just clarity. "Mark," it read, "this house is ours, which means we make decisions. Together. By inviting Tom without asking, you dismissed me and our partnership. I won't be an afterthought in my own home. If Tom stays, it's on my terms. If you can't respect that, you're free to go." I sealed it, taped it to the front door, and waited. The days before Tom's arrival were tense but quiet. Mark mentioned Tom casually, like it was all settled, never asking my thoughts. I kept my responses short, hiding the fire building inside. Claire checked in daily, her excitement contagious. "I need a front row seat when they read that letter," she texted. "Will Mark even get why you're pissed?" "Probably not," I replied. "But this isn't about him understanding. It's about me standing up." The anticipation grew, a mix of nerves and thrill. For years, I'd let Mark's choices slide, thinking peace was worth more than my voice. Not anymore. The day arrived. Mark texted at noon. "Tom's here at 6. Make sure the place is ready." I rolled my eyes. "Hotel Emma, reporting for duty?" "Nope." I double-checked everything. House spotless, guest room sparse, letter on the door. As 6 p.m. neared, my heart raced. I positioned myself in the kitchen, out of sight but close enough to hear. The car pulled up, doors slammed, and then Mark's voice exploded. "What the hell is this?" he barked, the letter clearly in hand. Tom's voice was softer, uneasy. "It's a letter, man. Maybe read it?" Silence stretched, heavy. I held, my breath, letting the words sink in. "What's this supposed to mean?" Mark roared, the door slamming open. "Emma?" I stepped out, calm as a summer breeze. "Hey, Mark, Tom, I see you found my letter." Mark's face was red, the crumpled paper shaking in his fist. "What's this crap, Emma? You're pulling some stunt?" Tom hovered behind, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. "I'm not pulling anything," I said, arms crossed. "I'm reminding you this is our home. I get a say." Mark scoffed. "You changed the locks? Moved my stuff? What are you even doing?" "Making a point," I said, voice steady. "You've made decisions without me for years. This house was our fresh start, but you're turning it into Tom's crash pad without asking me. You said your decision was final?" "Well, mine is too." Tom raised his hands, backing up. "Emma, if this is a bad time, I can go." "No, Tom," I said, softer but firm. "This isn't on you. It's about Mark handling things wrong." Mark's eyes blazed. "Wrong. Tom's my best friend. He needs help, and I'm not apologizing." "For that?" "And I'm not apologizing for standing up for myself," I shot back. "You didn't ask me, Mark. You didn't care how I felt. That's not a partnership." Tom shifted, grabbing his bag. "Look, I don't want to cause a fight. I'll find somewhere else." Mark spun on him. "No, you're staying. Emma's overreacting. She'll get over it." I stepped closer, voice like steel. "I won't." You've dismissed me for years, Mark. This time I'm drawing a line. This is my house too. If you can't treat me like a partner, maybe you should leave." The room went still. Tom looked at his shoes. Mark stared at me, his certainty cracking. "You're serious," he said, quieter. "Dead serious," I replied. "You've taken me for granted too long. If you want this to work, you start listening. If not, I'll be fine alone." Tom cleared his throat. "I'm out," he said, slinging his bag over his shoulder, dog leash in hand. "Mark, sort this out. Emma, I'm sorry." He shot Mark a look, fixed this, and left. The door clicked shut, leaving Mark and me in a heavy silence. He paced, muttering, "This is ridiculous. All this over Tom staying a bit." "It's not about Tom," I said, softer but firm. "It's about you. You didn't consider me. You assumed I'd go along. That's not how this works. I'm your wife, not your tenant." Mark stopped, staring at the letter in his hand. His shoulders slumped. "I didn't think it was a big deal," he admitted, voice low. "I thought you'd be okay with it." "I wasn't," I said. "And if we're going to keep going, that has to change. No more solo decisions, no more brushing me off." He nodded, barely audible. "I get it." I raised a brow. "Do you?" He met my eyes, tired but earnest. "I don't want to lose you, Emma. I messed up." I held his gaze. "Then show it. Actions, not words." The house felt different after Tom left, quieter, like the air had cleared. Mark sat on the couch, head in his hands, processing. For once, I didn't feel the urge to fix it. I tidied the kitchen, giving myself space. I'd said what I needed to, and the ball was in his court. After a bit, he came in, steps slow. "Emma, can we talk?" I leaned against the counter. "I'm listening." He rubbed his neck, avoiding my eyes. "I was wrong. About Tom. About how I've been acting. I didn't think about you. I've been selfish." I stayed quiet, letting him continue. "I get why you're mad," he said. "It's not just Tom. It's me making choices without you. I thought I was handling things, but I was shutting you out." I nodded. "You were. And it's not okay. I've spent years being ignored, Mark. That stops now. If we can't be partners, I'm done." His face tightened, but he didn't argue. "I don't want that," he said. "I want to do better. I want us to work." I studied him, searching for sincerity. I'd heard apologies before, but this felt different, raw, real. "Then prove it," I said. "No more decisions without me. No more assuming I'll just deal. Start treating me like you're equal." He nodded. "I will." That night we slept apart, not out of anger, but because I needed space. Standing up to Mark had been freeing, but it left me wondering, could he change? Could we rebuild? I didn't. No, but I knew I'd never go back to silence. The days after were a shift. Mark started small, asking my opinion on dinner plans, checking in about bills. It wasn't perfect. I could see him struggle, used to calling the shots. But he was trying, and that mattered. I focused on me, too. I redecorated, swapping Mark's heavy curtains for light ones, adding art I loved. The house felt like mine again, not just a battleground. Claire noticed the change over coffee. "You're glowing," she said, "like you're not carrying his baggage anymore." "I'm not," I said, smiling. "I know my worth now. I won't settle for less." A month later, the house was transformed, not just in decor, but in energy. Mark started therapy, unprompted, admitting he needed to unlearn his habits. Over dinner one night, he opened up. "I didn't see how much I was hurting you," he said. "I thought taking charge was being a good husband. I was wrong. I was pushing you away. It stung, but it healed too." "It took this to make you see," I said. "But you're here now. Keep showing up." He did. When he suggested Tom visit for a barbecue, he phrased it as a question. "Just a few hours," he said. "No dog. Is that okay?" I nodded. "Sounds good. Thanks for asking." It was small, but it felt like a win. Claire toasted me at our next coffee date. "To you, owning your space," she said. I clinked her mug. "To never shrinking again." There were still doubts. Change isn't instant. But I was sure of one thing. The Emma who taped that letter to the door wasn't going anywhere. That night, Standing in my kitchen, the house hummed with peace. Mark's dismissal had shaken me, but it woke me up. I'd reclaimed my home, my voice, my life. The future was ours to build, together as equals.